So a lot to cover in performance marketing, and I mean, I'm assuming that here some people have either zero knowledge or at least basic knowledge of it. Try to keep it not too technical at all, but to give you enough details for you to kind of get a whole landscape of how you need to start thinking of your performance marketing strategy. So we'll cover the different platforms. We'll cover something called the conversion funnel, which everyone must have heard about till now. Creative references, Facebook 101, Google 101, and then Arjun can talk about influencer marketing. So if you ask me as a young brand starting out, and maybe certain categories could be different, but majority of the D2C brands, I think Facebook and Google are the largest players in the ecosystem. And they are also the most developed in the ecosystem for you to be able to actually say, okay, I have a certain budget, I need to track it properly. This is what I kind of want to get out of it. Right. So based on the targeting, based on the trackability, based on the way they're structured, I think Google and Facebook ecosystems are definitely the beginning ones to start with. Google will of course cover Google and YouTube, and Facebook covers Facebook and Instagram. In addition to this, you do have content marketing platforms like Taboola and Outbrain. You also have platforms like Quora, for example, right? So, for example, in healthcare technology, two sectors, Quora plays a huge role. Does Quora translate directly to sales? If you ask me, no. But does it actually add value in terms of you being a thought leader, in terms of you building trust with consumers, into you seeing what consumers or readers are interested in and insights into? 110%. It's a much more time consuming game, but I think it adds a lot of value. You then have, I think earlier there was ByteDance, TikTok, which had a huge market share. And after that left, it kind of left a huge vacuum. So many players came into this space with this whole influencer-led marketing approach, right? Through videos, etc. Share chats are raised, one of them also raised a lot of funding. MX Takatak, there's Bolo India, there's Roposo of the world, right? There's Trell, which is a quasi, I would say, influencer plus commerce play as well. But again, huge potential there. You have a Criteo, which is like a remarketing platform. And then you have partnership platforms, right? Like a PhonePe or a Cred. So PhonePe, you can either direct the consumer to your own website for them to purchase, and you give them like scratch cards or offers or coupons. And Cred, yeah, it's a heavily discounting platform, but honestly, it's also, you look at it as a marketing budget, right? So you kind of can increase your MRP or create a range of products for a credit user and then discount it. I personally don't think it necessarily lowers your brand value per se, because it's only for a short period of time. It's a great way to acquire a new customer through branding. Um, and you kind of put it as a brand budget, according to me, versus looking at it as actually a marketing spend to lead to an ROAS of sales. If you just rely, however, on the Facebook and Google ecosystem, I think with scale and now with so many new entrants, it is a bit of a challenge, right? So to reduce your CAC, which is your customer acquisition cost, you will need to try other tools out there in the space as well and see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Online advertising, right? Just few things. You have your pay-per-click or PPC, which is your whole concept of bidding on keywords or phrases. It's literally like an online auction, right? You kind of put in that these are the certain keywords I want to bid in. This is my bid amount. This is the amount of money I want to spend on a day, right? And Google will always tell you, for example, that this is the range in which you should bid. So you decide how aggressive or how low you want to be. Typically, I mean, Vikas and Meghna will know this better, but I think typically like 20% of your bids actually work and go through and your ads actually shown, right? Uh, Paid social is when it's, you kind of target people. So you do a promoted post, you run certain ads for a particular target audience that you want to put into, that you recommend kind of sees this ad or creative. Email marketing or SMS marketing. You can do this through sending bulk emails. You can do it through actually a drip flow of if a person has spent time on your website, not purchased. If a person has actually added to your cart and left. If a person has what you bought from you and you want them to rebuy again from you. So there's a whole automation level here with SMS and email marketing as well. Then you have remarketing, right? So you would have seen this as well. You go on I think Amazon and Myntra do it the best, but if you go on an Amazon or you go on a Myntra and you search for, say, socks, right? Workout socks, and you don't buy it, they will follow you around everywhere on digital till you buy it, right? And there's a logic in how you do remarketing. There's a logic in which steps you should remarket how and where should you remarket them. And there are certain limitations as well. So, for example, in healthcare, for in our category, in the OTC space, we weren't allowed to really remarket through the Googles of the world. So you have to be innovative and use Criteos and platforms like that as well to remarket. This is your conversion funnel, right? It cannot only be action, desire, interest, or awareness. I think it has to be a combination of both. Your awareness is where people start learning or hearing about your brand. And assuming, see, most of the brands we're talking about right now on this course are relatively new brands, right? What can you do to make people aware about it? Social media is definitely aware, but on social media, what can you do? Can you be quirky? Can you be literally the thought leader? Create a position for yourself as being a thought leader in that space? Can you actually talk about interesting topics, right? Are you talking about relevant topics? Are you talking about topical content? That's in your social media play. Is your strategy strong enough? Influencers is a good way for people to know about your brands because they already have a large following, right? So you can use tap into influencers as well. Contest is another way. Like contest may just, you may not get the right consumer to buy, but you'll actually get at least people to start learning about your brand through it. And educational, right? So for example, on our website at Dr. Vaidya's, we had an opt-in option, right? If you wanted to learn more about Ayurveda, you could opt in to get a daily tip in English and Hindi through WhatsApp. And we created this group. We had about, I think, close to 12,000 plus consumers who had opted in for this. 7 days a week, we would send you a tip, a general knowledge tip on Ayurveda. Once a week, we would put in a product knowledge, right? We started building awareness about Ayurveda in general, herbs in general, ingredients in general, product knowledge as well. Then you have your interest base, right? So people are now starting to hear what Dr. Vaidya is or about your particular brand. Some people would have skipped your ad, some people would have maybe engaged with you or shown more interest or interacted with you. Those are your people who you want to then make to the next level. So people who are interested with you, you run traffic campaigns to them, right? You can actually tag into people who have interacted with your page on social media, Facebook or Instagram, and target them as well. You kind of tell them a little, show them a little more about testimonial videos, talking about the brand presence, brand, what your brand caters to, all of that. Someone who's further interacting on that stage of your communication, tap into the desire, right? What is a benefit, right? So you will never see Apple talking about the functionality of their laptop, right? They'll talk about the benefit. They'll talk about lightweight. They'll talk about easy to carry, easy to use. They won't easy to charge. They won't talk about the RAM space or things like that, right? That comes later on the buying phase. Your benefits are, how does this help you? Simple, easy ways to actually get you to interact. Is it an offer? Is it a discount, right? That's where your benefits come in. That's where your desire taps in. And action is actually when they want to purchase. So when they want to purchase, they actually talk about what is the details, what is the specs of that particular product that we're buying. Now, the way the flow works is the more you feel the awareness, then the interest builds up, your desire and your action. Action, yes, we all know is the end goal. But if you only do performance marketing, right? Your action and desire part may be taken care of, but what about the awareness and interest, right? It takes a longer time, but you need to kind of keep adding value or adding users to your awareness base to eventually also tap into your action base. This is your funnel. You should be doing certain activities for all. Maybe when you're starting out, your budgets for action and desire is a little higher, and that's how we did it as well. And then your interest and awareness is more organic, right? Less paid related, but more organic driven. That's fine, but you should keep focusing also on your awareness and interest aspect of your funnel. These are just few examples. So Arjun and I do this all the time, and I really recommend that you all do it within your teams as well. We used to have a weekly session, right? And we used to call it the brand track, where we used to look at about 10 brands in our competitive landscape and 10 generally consumer brands that we thought stood out. And we used to track them also to see who's doing what, what's working, what's not, right? It's not about a me too, but it's actually just getting that ideation going and creativity going within your team, right? We till date, I think Arjun and I share each other maybe 2 to 3 creatives a day, if not more. Saying, "Oh, I like this ad, I like that ad. What do you think?" So keep seeing, keep thinking of what interacts. So these are a few of like your top of the funnel, your brand awareness, your traffic related part, right? A lot of this or that works. When you do 2, 3 stories of this or that, does it relate to sale? Possibly not. But I think it adds a layer of engagement and you kind of start seeing what customers actually like. This is a video, and hopefully you'll just be able to see. At each segment of their video, they'll have their logo coming just in case you miss any of it. They're telling you about the benefits, what Fool is about. And they did it very smartly, right? Each part of the story gives the benefits. So you can watch the whole thing, you watch part of it, the message comes across to you. Then when you come in the news or you do an acquisition or you have a new brand ambassador or new product range is spoken about, stories like that. And then contest, right? So we had partnered with about, I think, 50 plus brands last year. Even this year, I think they've done it during the IPL, right? And it was purely a contest driven, but it got people to talk about Dr. Vaidya's. Got Dr. Vaidya's pay a contest, right? Let them engage with us through this, and then we can tap into them for something else. Then you have middle of the funnel creatives, right? I think this is probably one of the most, I hope you can hear it.
Indian brands that are in your little black book.
Man Matters, I just put in again, I think second time founders, if I'm not mistaken. They have an apple cider vinegar pill. No, it's not a pill, it's a chewy. Anyone who's trying to lose weight will tell you that the first thing that a nutritionist tells you is wake up and have apple cider vinegar with lemon in water, and it's the most disgusting thing in the world. And I've recently lost, in the last 4 months, I've lost a ton of weight. And I was drinking apple cider vinegar until someone told me saying that Man Matter does this in a pill, and it's just a superior product. Like, it just makes life so much easier. I think this is going to blow up, right? For anybody who's health conscious, this is a no-brainer. It comes in this beautiful package.
Was this paid? Was this organic? I have no idea. But the way it's done, you have a celebrity like a Tanmay Bhatt, very casually talking about his personal experience of the product, right? It's a smart way. I loved this ad OnePlus did, right? In a world of Apple, stand out with the OnePlus. Super creative, super innovative. A lot of people talked about it, shares, likes. It was there all over social media. This is another really interesting way. You can see this used to be our WhatsApp group at Dr. Vaidya's content where we used to all just share each other creatives all the time.
Guys, हमें मार्केटिंग नहीं आती है. हमें नहीं पता कि आपको कैसे बताएं कि हमारी एंटी एक्ने जेल 4 हफ्तों में आपके एक्ने को हटा देगी, या हमारा शैम्पू आपके हेयर फॉल को रोकेगा, या हमारा आईलिफ्ट अंडर आई क्रीम आपके डार्क सर्कल्स को हटा देगा. अगर हम किसी सेलिब्रिटी को हायर करेंगे तो आप कहोगे पैसे दिए हैं. किसी इन्फ्लुएंसर को लाएंगे तो फेक है. तो हम आपको कैसे बताएं कि बेला वीटा ऑर्गेनिक आपके लिए इफेक्टिव आयुर्वेदिक नेचुरल स्किन केयर बनाता है जो आपकी स्किन के लिए actually amazing है. Head on to bellavitaorganic.com.
Super smart way, according to me, of talking about all the product benefits. And you were curious because it was a different format than the run-of-the-mill ones that we hear. Then this is your bottom of the funnel, right? Talking about the functional parts, the ingredients, the sales-driven, the discount, right? 40% off. Here they talk about what is the benefit, what are the 3 steps that you need to use control hair fall in 3 onion fill steps. Here they talk about the benefit again, fresh glowing skin in no time, vitamin C, cruelty free, 100% vegan. very clear messaging comes across. Now, when you are doing creatives, one thing I will tell you, especially on Facebook and Google for that matter, you need to be extremely aware of what their rules and regulations are for your category and follow them to the T. Because the worst thing you can do is, an ad that's doing well gets rejected because you've broken one of their rules. And earlier on, when you're starting out, it'll probably go under the radar. Once you actually start getting more scale, it comes more on the radar and you get flagged. You getting flagged for ads, it's not worth it. Your account suffers, right? So things like no personal pronouns, no tapping into someone's insecurity, no before or after, no claims to be made. Not saying that do you suffer from diabetes, right? That's a no. For example, skin show is a big issue. I'll give you an example. We had a nirgundi oil, right, which is for joint pain, arthritic pain, and we had a video of someone, a man wearing shorts, and it was zoomed into their knee, right, and showing you that this is a part, this is where you apply it. That got flagged because skin show is not allowed. Focusing on body parts, not allowed. So literally, you have to keep reading, learning about Facebook rules to make sure that your creatives don't break any of their rules. It's another really good ad.
Go Mechanic Beat the Heat sale is now live. Get up to 3,000 off on.
Benefits was super simply explained according to me. This is more one of like if you want to see a product type.
It's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. It's hard to breathe, but
Right, so now it depends a lot on your category, what works, what doesn't. You have to do a lot of trial and error. So for example, we realized human elements work a lot. So we did human elements. We realized video formats work. We did that. I was talking to another brand in the apparel and in the footwear space, and for them, videos don't work at all. People just like seeing the shoe through static images, seeing it on different color backgrounds, seeing it on different color outfits. So you have to actually understand in your category what works, look at your data, see what your click-through rates are, see which ones are getting most engagement organically as well, if it's not an ad. Then the way I kind of look at it, if its post is doing well organically, once it's actually slowed down organically, promote it, right, from a brand awareness perspective as well. Then you have your retargeting creatives, right? So this is about someone who's left your website and you want to kind of try and get them back. What is that one selling point that you can come and get them back? Sure, it could be a discount that you could get them back, like J. Crew did a 40% off. Adidas has very quirky ways of saying, is your Wi-Fi okay? Saying that, don't worry, we've still got you back. We've got your card saved, right? Fresh Desk is saying that, look, we'll give you our USPs, our offerings, or tell you how many customers are using it. Great way to get you back. So what is that unique thing that you think your brand or your product can actually pull a consumer back to? So I personally do believe that, if you're, I think currently how competitive the ecosystem has become with the amount of D2C brands, you can't run away from Google and Facebook, according to me. I think you need to just agree that it's going to be part of your business strategy, your business plan, have a little allocated budget for it as well. It helps you for brand awareness. It helps you to spread information. It drives buyer behavior, right? It reminds curious buyers of who you are at constant points and at the right point. It helps with repeat sales, which eventually improve your overall sales. And it has multiple different ways which a consumer can actually come to you and buy your products. Just going to quickly run you through what are the different types of ads, and then do a little bit of Facebook and Google as well. I'm just going to check the time a little bit. Yeah. So display ads are, you would have all seen these a lot. These big, large image ads, right, that appear. You can tell very easily, according to me, that it's a display ad, right? they're relatively cheaper than other forms of ads, and it becomes a little hard to sell with people have like ad blockers that don't let you actually show them ads. Then of course you can't, but they're very good for remarketing, right? You would have seen this. Amazon and Myntra, I still believe, are one of the two platforms who do the best. They literally follow you wherever you go. Then you have native ads, which are a little bit more subtle. It kind of, flows through the information that you are seeing. So in this example, right, you're reading an article, this little ad space is very subtle. You don't really it doesn't scream in your face an ad. It's a more subtle way to actually embed your content into, content that's being research read by consumers. Even your Google AdWords in a way, right? You would have seen it appears AD on top, right? But it's within your regular general flow. It's not a big creative as such that pops up. Click-through rates are higher, but even your it's more expensive. India, I think this number is also further increased now. India has more than 300 million plus active Facebook users. And I'm talking about both ecosystems now. When I talk about Facebook, I'm talking about Facebook and Instagram both. On Facebook, there are three main types of ads objectives that you can run, right? One is your brand awareness or your product awareness or your category awareness, where you kind of just want to get impressions for people to see your logo, see what you have offering, reach more people. Second is consideration. So awareness campaigns are a little cheaper as well. It's also more broader. Then you have consideration, which is a little bit more narrow and a little more expensive, where it's you want to drive traffic to your website. You want to get people to install your apps. You want people to engage in a contest. You want people to fill a form for you, right? You want them to, you would have seen these lead gen ads where you can fill a form to try and engage further. People do it a lot for when they are launching a new product and you want to have a sneak peek or try to collect things like information like that, right? Messages, Facebook messages as well. That's a consideration campaign. Your third one is where you actually say, most expensive as well, where you say, I want a person who wants to buy, has a buying power, buying behavior, to actually come on my site and buy this product from me, right? That doesn't mean that it's necessary all the people who see this ad will buy, but the chances of them buying are higher, right? The objective is for them to buy through your website purchase or through your catalog sales or through store visits as well. You have multiple different types of Facebook ads, right? You have your link click ads, which basically means this entire creative is clickable. Here, the creative means the most. Your click-through rate is how many people are actually seeing the creative and clicking on it. Higher the click-through rates, you know that the creative is actually working. When your click-through rates start following a number, you know that, okay, the two things, either the creative is no longer working or my audience has got exhausted from seeing this creative. I need to have a change in audience or creative, right? Boost page posts, you would have seen this. These are content that you put on your regular feed on either your Instagram grid, on your Facebook feed, and then you can promote them. Collection ads, right? Collection ads are really cool if you have to show a catalog, a particular range of products, summer collection, pret collection. If you want to talk about, target someone for weight loss and you have a bunch of different products, your weight loss catalog, that helps. Lead ads are something where, you want people to engage with you, sign up forms, right? Take part in the course. Maybe this course you saw through a lead ad, or sign up to be part of a new offer that they are having, or a lot of brands do sneak peek, all of that as well. You want to be the first people to be part of the sneak peek. How do you kind of tap into that? Even on Instagram, right, you'll have three major types. You'll have within your regular grid, when you feed, when you scroll, you'll see ads like this. Your CTAs can depend, right? It can be shop now, call us now, set up an appointment, WhatsApp us as well, right? So now you can actually click on it directly, takes you to WhatsApping with someone, which is I think a really cool feature. Then you have your story ads, right? So your story ads can swipe up, take you to the website, take you to the blog, take you to a sign up page, depending on what your product or service is. And then, of course, you have Insta shopping as well, which you see on the post itself. You can see the prices. Facebook targeting, according to me, it's a There's no right answer if you should go too niche or too broad, right? I think it's somewhere personally a little bit in the middle, especially when you're starting out, and then you can kind of keep developing from it once you understand your audience per product, per category, per range, per price point as well. Many different ways in which you can target consumers, right? Gender and age is one we all know. Educational level, right? So you may, depending on, say, if you want to target them for a particular course, or maybe a laptop bag, or a particular, say, if I want to target people who have done a photography course because I sell a camera bag, can target things like that as well. Life events, so you can target life events based on people whose birthdays are there, or people whose friends' birthdays are there in 7 days, 30 days, or anniversary in 30 days. Or if people got a promotion, people got engaged, married, all these life events, you can actually target them. And you don't just target them, you target them and friends of theirs as well. Location, you can go down to the pin code level as well, of course. Language as well. Occupation, what is it that they do, based on either, you can say that, look, if I'm a luxury jewelry brand, for example, I want people who can only pay a certain amount. So my sense is that only people who are CXO level, for example, of certain companies, certain fields, would be able to afford my jewelry. So I want to target them, right? Depends on, again, your this thing. I may say that, okay, I'm a brand who's interested in gifting for Diwali. I want to target the HR of the companies to be able to show them that why don't they get this for their employees, another option as well, right? Then behavior, their financial behavior, right? What is their behavior patterns within online? Do they spend online? Are they card users? Do they have loans, home loans, all of that? Their digital activities, do they spend time on Facebook? Do they spend time on an Android phone? Do they spend time on an iOS phone? Where is it, do they spend a lot of time generally on websites, on digital? Travel, do they domestic travel, international travel, another way as well, right? And purchase behavior, you can actually say, are they e-commerce shoppers or not, right? And then activity based, right? This is your likes, dislikes, which brands do they follow, what do you think that they do, are they part of mommy network groups, or are they part of marketing groups, what are their hobbies, are they interested in nutrition, wellness, sports, all of these categories as well you can target. We all see this, right? Almost half of products, I personally think, more search begins on Google, right? We do everything on Google. I personally think the Blings, the Yahoos of the world are really far behind in terms of, in comparison to Google. So you can try them if you feel your customers there, but I think that they're not as developed, and they don't have as such a sticky user base as Google tends to have, right? More than 75% of the search engine volume is on Google, as we all use it ourselves, right? Search network, it basically shows you search terms, search results based on your search terms, right? Now this could be organic means related to your, this has a lot to do with your search engine optimization as well, so your SEO. It has a lot to do with the quality of content, has a lot to do with your website ranking, it has a lot to do with how unique is your quality of content. At the end of the day, when you go to Google, you're also a customer to them. So for them, they need to make sure that they do the best by offering you the best service. That means they offer you the most relevant content, right? And to do that, they have their own checks and balances in place. Is your website speed good? Will the customer have a good experience? Does the customer actually get what they need by coming to your website, right? And this is true for organic as well as paid. If the bid is, say, about 8, 10, and you just put 50, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win the bid, because Google has its own filtering process as well, for you to actually get it. Display network is when you see the images, right? You would have, again, based on the search keywords and key terms and search terms, you would have seen the actual images of display ads as well. Search and shopping ads, right? You would have all seen this. Now, what is the keywords you use here? What is the keywords you use in the headline as well as in the description? This also matters to decide your rank in which it appears. Your quality score is something that Google cares about a lot. It's an estimate of the quality of your ads, your keywords, and your landing page. Very important. If your ad says the swim revolution for baby swimming lessons, and you go on that page and it's adult swimming lessons, or it's something completely unrelated, it's a huge red flag for Google. Shopping ads, right? So this is actually, it pulls it typically from your website, and that's why you'll see most websites, most agencies all telling you you should have white background images as well, because this is what pulls into your shopping ads. Again, this is also based on relevancy, high quality website experience, content as well. This is how you'll see your shopping ads. At times they appear here. You'll see at times shopping ads even appear here on top. Google display ads, right? So Google has many partners. I think over 2 million plus partners, and they own inventory. Think about it as they have inventory across all these websites. They actually can show your ads. So I say in healthcare I couldn't, but say in fashion you can, right? I want someone who's visited my website and not bought to be followed with this ad, right? Display ad is a great way to see it. They keep reminding. That's the power, right? There's a small number that says typically someone sees your brand or the product 7 times before actually purchasing it, right? Which according to me is quite crazy. But that's why you think of all conversion numbers, even healthy conversion numbers on e-commerce sites is 3 to 6%. Where is the balance 94%? They've not bought. Why? Right? So, but they've still clicked on an ad possibly and come to your website, or they've still seen a social media post and come to our website. But why is only 3 to 6% actually converting on the website? What about the rest? So display ads is a great way of reminding, right, people. Video ads as well. So video ads through YouTube as well. Super way of actually engaging with customers, and Google retargeting as well to win a sale back. Custom intent audiences is something that actually worked really well for us. Earlier, it used to be Google is Google, and when you search for something on YouTube, you search for something in YouTube. Now, if you search for something on Google, as I had mentioned earlier, approximately only 20% of what you actually are bidding for may actually get seen by users or clicked on by users. Now, someone who's actually searched for financial advisor, right, on Google, since Google and YouTube is now linked, 80% of the people who maybe didn't come see your search term ads or your search ads, 80% of them are still left. But Google has this data. Google knows which 20% saw it and which 80% did. You can actually also target them through on YouTube later, right? So it's your custom intent audience. So Google search behavior instead of only your YouTube behavior. Instead of only seeing people who what they search for on YouTube, they will take that user's behavior through Google search and also show them the ads through YouTube, right? TrueView, you would have all seen these sort of ads that appear either in the list or when, during sponsored ads that come in the middle if you don't have a free account, a premium account. Those are regular YouTube ads as well. Google offers the option of choosing video ads specifically rather than more broadly advertising on display network, right? So you have options of skippable and unskippable ads. Of course, the unskippable ads are much more expensive. Skippable ads are a little cheaper. But here, according to me, it's not really about the budgets as say, it's much more to do with that quality. In those 4 or 8 seconds, can you actually, with high quality, capture the audience use, right? From them actually wanting to see more about it. That's, I think, where this becomes tricky. It requires therefore a little higher budget, according to me. But if got right, I think it's very powerful as a tool. Google Ads Keyword Planner, right? If you're very new to all of this is something I really recommend you do. Literally think as a customer, right? Think of your brand, think of your offering, your service, your products, your top products as well. Think like a customer. What is it that they would search for if they want to discover your product? So we spoke about vitamin C, we spoke about power gummies, we spoke about our own Dr. Vaidya's, right? What are the words that you as a user would search for it to be relevant for your brand or products offerings to appear? Make a list of these keywords. Make different members of your team make this list of keywords and then actually discuss this. Once you have a list of keywords, use a tool, right? Use Adword Planner, SEM Rush, all of these tools, and see, okay, these are the keywords that I think. This has got good volume, medium volume, low volume. This is too competitive. This is too generic. Doesn't make sense. I also think, especially when you're starting off as a brand, don't go too broad, right? So, say for example, if you were selling wedding shoes, right? Juttis for shoes, for weddings. According to me, a key term like wedding is just too broad. You will be competing with wedding vendors across photography, decor, venue, all of that, invitation, designers for clothes, jewelry, everything. I would, in that case, actually say wedding jutti shoes, or shoes for wedding. As specific as that. I wouldn't go broad as wedding, to be very honest, because all of that costs money at the end of the day, and you have to be smart and optimize this as much as possible. So be specific, but not too specific. So too specific would only be to say uh, diamond tea juttis for wedding, right? That's a bit specific. Try it out, but I think that could be a bit too specific if you have a range of shoes for wedding juttis. Obviously add a website, because you can direct make the customer user experience much easier, so that they can click and go to your website and see the relevant pages. So if you're talking about wedding jutti shoes, your website link should take them to a category page that shows them wedding jutti shoes. Be descriptive, but avoid starting with adjectives, right? So saying like fantastic wedding juttis, no. Best wedding juttis, no. Be start with the actual functionality. Wedding jutti shoes that for all functions, that could be these things. But don't start with an adjective, because an adjective again it is a very broad term. Google kind of goes by that logic also. So I would avoid using adjectives to start your phrases with. Use multiple keywords or keyword phrases. You can't just bank on two or three. You have to do trial and errors here as well. So have an extensive list. You want to do influencer? Just to pause a little on Google and Facebook, right? Now, with Google and Facebook, people ask which one should I do first. I think a little bit of both. Facebook is a quicker, easier way to scale, but right now it's becoming a lot more competitive. CPMs are higher, CACs are higher. Google is something where I think the intent is much higher. So typically you will see higher ROAS, but it takes much longer to scale as well, right? So I think you need to honestly have a little bit of a balance of both between the two. You need to start with certain campaigns. So I think typically on Facebook they'll tell you that you can start with one particular campaign that typically has 4 to 5 ad sets of 600 to 800 rupees per day. That's your starting budget. They'll also tell you on Facebook that you need to have 50 transactions or 50 events, depending on what your objective is, for the campaign to go out of learning, right? Don't make too many sudden changes before that, because Facebook is still learning who your audience is, who is the relevant people, who is actually buying, who is actually engaging. Similarly with Google, I think they'll tell you typically do anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 rupees a day per campaign. Run it for minimum 7 days for you to see the results and then see. Right now, depending on your strategy, there's no, I think, rule that fits all. It depends on various things like what is your ASP, what is your category, how competitive is it, what is your offering, right? So I don't think there's one thumb rule, but these are just few tips that I have seen in my experience, in our experience as well. Influencer marketing. I think this is one of the toughest things, but also one of the most powerful things, right? 74% of consumers rely on social media to influence their purchasing decision. That is a crazy, crazy high number. Why do we use influencers, right? The truth is, if you're a new brand, people don't know who your brand is. If they hear an influencer talking about your brand, that trust factor comes across, because they're saying, oh, if I see a Masu Meenawala or a Bia Biceps or a Raj Shamani talking about this brand, I think they know it better. I trust them. Let me go ahead and check it out, right? It's not only the celebrities nowadays. It's not only your Deepika Padukones, your Kareena Kapoors of the world who you need to tap into. You have celebrities in terms of opinion leaders, in terms of thought leaders, right? I'll tell you one of my own friends. This girl called Sally Rai runs a brand, content page called Fin Cocktails. She started out as a passion project. Complete comes from an investment banking background. Realized, you know what? Women are too reliant on men to manage their finances. Right? It's a bit of a blanket statement, but it kind of, she did some research and found that this is true in most cases, not all, but most. And she's like, why don't I just start putting out content in a more informative way to people to actually learn about the differences of debt versus equity. How do you look at a stock market? How do you plan to buy your own house? How do you manage your savings? What is cryptocurrency? Every single day you will see she posts a reel about it, right? Very simple content, very easy to understand. And she told me her secret sauce was consistency. So she posts every single day. She has gone in a year's time from, I think, 2,000 followers to over 100 plus thousand followers, right? She becomes an opinion leader. Now, when she goes and talks about a particular service, right? What is it, Cash X or Cat, whatever these new platforms are. What is the one that people buy shares of now? The largest one? Zomato slips by 23% off. Zerodha. Zerodha, right? When she goes and talks about a Zerodha, you kind of tend to trust it more because she's created herself as an opinion leader in financial services. Just an example, right? Content creators, that's their job. They create fresh content. I started doing reels for one of the brands and I realized the amount of time and effort that goes into creating content. It looks super simple. What is it to take a reel? Chalo, 5 minutes, let's shoot. No, you spend a lot of time, lot of effort, lot of research, a lot of insights of what time works best to keep creating fresh content, right? They are the experts. Tap into the expertise. Great way to boost organic traffic and engagement. And I think with influencers, if you've tapped it right, they generate sales. You speak to a Mama Earth right now, right? They have mastered the way that they know which influencer, if they launch a new product, which influencer should they reach out to across YouTube and Instagram for them to get what ROAS. They know exactly if I spend 1 lakh on X influencer, I will get 5 lakhs or 3 lakhs in sale, and depending on and which product range to use it. So when you do any influencer activity, in the beginning it's trial and error. I don't think that there's a magic answer that can kind of shorten your process. When you do it, you have to kind of track each of them, right? You have to kind of track, okay, this influencer gave me this engagement. How do you track it? You put UTMs, you give them coupon codes, you make them do swipe ups, right? You do exclusive things with them. You have to be able to track to understand which influencer gives you the best ROAS. And this is a time taking process. I don't believe there is any shortcut for this or any quick fix for this. You have agencies who can help you connect to influencers. But at the end of the day, knowing which influencer works best for your brand, only the brand can do. You have many types of influencers, right? Your micro influencers, your middle level, your macro, and celebrities. I think when you, depending on how when you're starting out, tapping into the middle influencers and micro is a good way to start. Tap into, be smarter, and tap into different types of influencers, right? Tap into influencers who are of vernacular nature. Whoever, if say for example you have a product that you think will do well in the south, tap into that kind of influencer. Have a variety of influencers. Don't only do one type of influencers because the chances is there's a huge overlap in their audience. So tap into difficult verticals of influencers, right? If you are a kids brand, tap into mom influencers, tap into father influencers, tap into professionals who happen to be moms as well, right? There's nothing wrong. If you have a food brand, you can tap into moms, you can tap into young fashion influencers, you can tap into celebrity chefs, you can tap into comedians. Don't restrict yourself to only one type of influencers. Quickly tell you something that we did, right? During Diwali, we realized that, there are a lot of these celebrities that were there who were offering their time, effort, etc. We said, let's tap into celebrities that all India knows, right? Remember, Dr. Vaidya's is always a Bharat brand, 16,500 pin codes that shows you the reach we've reached, the depths of India we've gone into. Let's tap into the whole concept of using celebrities to talk about gift Ayurveda for Diwali and the gift of health, right? So we tapped into 6, 8 different influencers, made each one of them play into their little role, you know. So this is, for example, Sarabhai. He was known for his poetry. We made him do our Chakash toffee and do a little poem about it, and then gift the health of Diwali to another celebrity, who then played his character, gave it to the other celebrity, right? It was a very cost effective, if I have to say. Not with the, it was not the aim to drive sales for this one. It was just the aim to actually drive awareness and get people to talk about it. And it was fantastic, right? One of our most successful campaigns, I think. This is something else we've done. We used Kurt Angle, a wrestler, to talk about Herbo Build. Right? We used Akash Chopra, an Indian cricketer, to talk about Herbo Fit. Ruslan Mumtaz. All these are not large celebrities, right? They are, though well known in their own space, affordable for a brand to use to do multiple ones, and actually have a very strong, engaging followers. So we did that. Delnaz Irani to talk about fruit and veggie wash, right? So tapped into all these upcoming celebrities. None of these are big names per se, right? But in their own individual capacity, they actually have a very loyal follower base. And we used each one of them to their strengths and how does it relate to the product, right? According to me, getting a Ruslan to actually do a veggie wash wouldn't make sense. So that also plays a role. Does the celebrity or the influencer tap fit the right profile for that product that you're trying to target? Few helpful guidelines. There's something called Facebook ad library. This is a great way to kind of check what ads your competitors are doing, what is working you can't see, but you can actually just see what ads are they currently running. Rocketium is a tool. I think they have a 30-day trial. I don't know if it's still there, and then it's a paid version for you to make short videos, GIFs, because this initially when you're starting out, everything you are on limited budgets, right? You don't know what's working. You have to do a lot of trial and error. Facebook for business, great tools, great insights, and to keep teaching you about Facebook. Social Blade helps you maintain monitor your social engagement. A great way to check which influencers have what sort of engagement as well. Hootsuite is a tool for actually post scheduling, right? So your calendar can be ready for the month and you can then just schedule all the posts. Pixis is for curated ads, right? So Pixis is the tool that actually helps you say that, okay, Swiggy, for example, is trying to run an ad in Bangalore and Bombay and Delhi, right? Now the logic is the same, but they may want to change the food item used in it, right? So in South, they may want to talk more about the South Indian food. In Bombay, they may want to talk more about pav bhaji, sev puri. And in the North, they may want to talk more about butter chicken. So the ad is the same, but then based on the region and based on many parameters, you can actually customize and curate the ad, which I think is I think that's the way it's going to go in the future as well.